over the last few months, we've seen the rise of, I guess pseudo-celebrity is the right phrase, Dylan Mulvaney, who shot to fame with his Days of Girlhood series on TikTok. Now, Dylan identifies as a trans woman, and usually I'd play along with the pronoun game, but for this video, I'll be using the pronouns he and him. And that's because previously, I thought fundamentally, the emphasis there being on fundamentally, a good person, albeit a good person with acute mental health problems. But now, he's shown his true colours. A few days ago, he posted a 4-minute video, and I have a few clips from it, but don't worry, I won't subject you to it in its entirety. I've seen it, and after around 2.5 minutes, I was thinking, at this point, I'd rather just get waterboarded. Waterboarding at Guantanamo Bay, that sounds like fun if you didn't know what it entails. Anyway, this video was his response because he's facing a massive online backlash from actual women. Before I get into this, I want to stress I'm not trying to speak up on behalf of women. I'm a man, I don't have that right, in the same way that Dylan is a man, so he doesn't have that right. I'm basing my opinions on the various comments and videos I've seen posted in response to Dylan's videos. So first up is the way he portrays femininity. Dylan doesn't behave in a manner that any real woman does. He's more like a drag artist or a pantomime dame, a grotesque caricature of womanhood. He said on his first day being a girl, he bought dresses he couldn't afford and cried 3 times. That's what he's breaking being female down to, negative tropes and stereotypes, and he wonders why he's under fucking attack. What a pillock! In his defence, I'll say that Dylan isn't the sharpest knife in the drawer. He recently went on holiday to Bora Bora and filmed himself trying to feed bread to the fish. Now, I'm not a marine biologist, but I'm fairly certain that wildlife that exists in a saltwater environment won't have a primarily wheat-based fucking diet. But the fact that he's even been to Bora Bora is a cause of anger, because he's travelling the world. He's got fame and fortune, he's got sponsorship worth millions of dollars, he's even met the President of the USA. All from playing dress up. Now, feminists often talk about the gender wage gap. Here it is. He's getting more money pretending to be a woman than an actual woman would. So we're about to see Dylan. I should warn you, don't watch the next part if you're holding a knife or you have the opportunity to throw yourself out of a window.
Day 271 of being a girl, or I'll say woman for this one, because this video is for the women on Twitter who just really don't like me. Hello, ladies. We got a lot to cover, but let's first talk tampons. I haven't talked about tampons on here lately because I don't use them. I'm a woman who doesn't have a uterus. I know this. And science was my strongest subject in high school. I was also shockingly good at math, but I digress. I just sometimes carry one in case anybody needs it. And that seems to have just set the world on fire in some pretty nasty ways. Why is so repulsive to you? Because listen to this. If a man, whether he was your boyfriend or your husband, could even be your gay best friend, kept a tampon for you at his house just in case you needed it, you'd gush over him. You would run to brunch on Sunday and tell all your gal pals that he's so thoughtful and he cares and he listens. And then a trans woman does it, and all of a sudden I'm the reason that there's a tampon shortage. You know, it's not because I'm misogynistic, it's because you're transphobic. You know, we gotta work.
Yes, the main issue is that Dylan has a habit of going into women's toilets carrying tampons to distribute them to the actual females. And you heard it, ladies, he's not being misogynistic, you're being transphobic. There is a physical man going into your spaces, and you are to blame. What we see here is Dylan establishing victimhood, so he can go on the attack later on. But I'm curious to know from any women watching, if you had a male friend who made a point of keeping tampons at his house in case you needed them, would you think that man is kind and caring and thoughtful? Or would you think this one's a fucking weirdo, a pervert with a very specific fetish? Dylan's fascination with feminine hygiene products started on day 2 or 3 of his journey into girlhood. He said he was in a female toilet, and this opinion may not be popular, but it's mine and I'll own it. No matter what you identify as, no matter how you dress, if you are physically male, stay out of female-only spaces like restrooms, bathrooms, changing rooms, anywhere where there's a chance that females could be in a state of undress, because to be blunt, if you go into those spaces and you've got a cock and bollocks, it's a bit rapey. Not that I'm saying that Mulvaney is a sexual predator. I don't think he's a danger to women. But the danger is other men who are dangerous to women will follow his example and invade those spaces. I recently saw a video of him saying that when he still identified as a man, how hard it was coming out as gay to his parents. Like they hadn't fucking figured it out. He makes Graham Norton look like a cage fighter. And if you're from overseas, Graham Norton is an Irish TV and radio presenter who is homosexual and extremely camp. Well, he's Irish except for when the Eurovision Song Contest is on, and then he decides that he's British. Anyway, Dylan said that when he was in this woman's bathroom, the woman in the cubicle next to him called through, "Do you have a tampon?" And he didn't, and he said that's why he carries them now. Sorry, I'm calling bullshit. You see, I have never met a woman who didn't know exactly where she was on her monthly cycle. And as a man, I find that amazing because I check my phone several times a day to confirm what day it is. So the idea that this encounter took place 2 or 3 days after he decided to be a girl. No, women are always prepared for their periods. I'm not fucking buying it. And I said at the start of this video, he's shown his true colours. Let's have a look at how he ends his video.
Please don't call the police on me if we bump into each other in the bathroom. You know, my only agenda is to try to find the will to wake up every day and find some ounce of happiness. And believe it or not, somehow I love you. And P.S. I am also very nervous for you just because hopefully soon transphobia won't be as tolerated online, but your tweets are forever and I don't want those to come back and haunt you.
He's not quite perfected the art of the barely veiled threat, but the message is clear. Any women who say things that he doesn't like, anyone who doesn't play along, when the time comes, the mob will come for them. And we know some trans activists are the vilest and most violent people on earth. So any woman who speaks out against Mulvaney can expect in the near future to be doxxed, to be cancelled, to have her employers contacted saying she should be sacked for her hate speech, whilst all the time receiving a barrage of messages threatening her with sexual violence. That's not very loving, Dylan. And I'll end this video with this. If anyone from Tampax watches this video, every day millions of girls don't go to school because they can't afford basic sanitary products. So if you're giving your products away, why not start with them rather than the fucking clown that escaped from the circus? As ever, thanks for watching. Shit, it's cold.